there's a reason why this game was hyped up as big as it was. You had the number one seed in the NFC going against the number one seed in the AFC at this point. You had the best offense versus the best defense, you had the MVP candidates, Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey. You couldn't script a better rollout for this game. Not to mention it was on Christmas. You could not script a better rollout. Now, I can admit that while, yes, I have faith in the Ravens, I think what the Ravens are doing this year is special. The way that they're beating teams, the myriad of ways that they're beating teams, they just can't. They can beat you more than one way, and I think that bodes well when we talk about deep playoff runs. But I will admit that going into this game, it was very hard for me to see an avenue that led to the Baltimore Ravens winning. Now, that's not me disrespecting the Baltimore Ravens like some people did in the national media world. But what it's saying is, I'm looking at both teams' track record. And while the Ravens do have a track record, and a good one at that, don't get me wrong. I mean, going into the game, they were 11-3. I was looking at the 49ers' track record, and I was looking at their 11-3 and how they were dominant this entire season. The three losses that they have were obviously in a row, and when they were missing very key parts of their offense, whether that was Deebo Samuels, whether that was Trent Williams, whether that was Christian McCaffrey, when the puzzle isn't whole, that's where they struggled. But going into this game, both teams were healthy. I mean, as healthy as can be. Of course, we know about Mark Andrews, but when the 49ers are healthy, they have been unstoppable. In fact, when the 49ers are completely healthy, Brock Purdy has not lost a game. And going into it, it's not like these are cupcake games. That's not the case at all. They've beat the Eagles. They beat the Cowboys. They're destroying teams, high-ranked teams. Now, yes, I will admit that the Baltimores are doing similar things, but it was just hard for me to see an avenue in which the Baltimore Ravens won this game. I thought that, of course, there were incentives and there were perks, obviously, for winning this game as far as mental edge, obviously being number one in your conference, but I just didn't know. I wasn't as confident in the Ravens as I should and could have been, because as quiet as it's kept, as much as I praised and as high as I felt about the 49ers coming into this game, I kind of felt the same way about the Ravens. I just didn't put as much stock into that because, again, and it's kind of like the Michigan Wolverines. I think it's ironic that both Harbaugh brothers, one obviously is the coach for the Michigan Wolverines, and the other one is the coach for the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's ironic, and I think that is kind of poetic in a way, how they both approach the game, because they both approach the game of football very similarly. And that is, there's this thing in sports that we like to call style points. And people love style points. Style points make sometimes fights. Style points it's not if you win, it's how you win at times. Now, that can get into some teams' way, of course, but style points is something that you see not just in football, not just in fighting, but in general. For a perfect example, basketball. A layup and a alley-oop or a layup and a dunk are both 2 points. But when you see your man's on a fast break, and when you're on a fast break, you hope that they're going to dunk the ball. It's a style point. And then even when your man's lays the ball up, it's like, bro, why didn't you dunk that? Why didn't you dunk that? You know what I'm saying? It's style points. And for the Baltimore Ravens, they don't really care about style points. They don't care how they beat you. They don't care what margin they beat you. They just want to win. Now, obviously, every team wants to win. Obviously, every team tries their best to win the game. But again, it goes back to those style points. Some teams care about the layup. Some teams care about the alley-oop. Obviously, they both get you 2 points, but there's a different level. When we talk about the Baltimore Ravens and the Michigan Wolverines, both Harbaugh coached teams, they don't care about style points. They will beat you running the ball. As we've seen, and for some reason people don't want to admit, Lamar Jackson can throw the ball and win. The defense can win. The Ravens can beat you in a multitude of ways. But again, I wasn't looking. It was just very hard for me to get over that. I needed to see. That's what it is. I needed to see someone beat the 49ers at full strength with Brock Purdy, because I have not seen that yet. But what the Ravens did on, was it Monday Night Football, on Christmas, against the 49ers is the prime reason why I think that this team not only could and probably should land themselves in the Super Bowl, but have a very good shot of winning. Again, I know that it's just one game, but every game has a story to it. The Baltimore Ravens beat the 49ers 33-19. Now, there are aspects of this game that it's almost impossible to expect them to happen again. Like the Ravens had 5 interceptions. I don't expect Brock Purdy to throw 4 interceptions. I don't expect, if they do play again, if they do meet again, because obviously the only way this season they would meet again is in the Super Bowl. I don't expect Brock Purdy to throw 3 interceptions in the first half. I don't. That's kind of unrealistic to expect that to happen again. I don't expect Sam Darnold to come in and throw an interception. That's something that is very hard to expect. But there are aspects of this game that can be duplicated. And that obviously is coming from the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens came into this game obviously with a chip on their shoulder, seeing as though they have pretty much conquered almost every opponent they faced this year, and seeing as though their 3 losses that they had, they were leading in the fourth quarter. Every single game they've been in, I believe, they've led in the fourth quarter or going into the fourth quarter. And the fact that you take all that data and still have them as large underdogs, actually, I see the motivation there. I see the motivation of, okay, we're going to show the world exactly who we are. On top of that, there's still people to this day that have that Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball. Lamar Jackson's not a good quarterback. Lamar Jackson can't understand offenses. There's still parts of the world that believe that, and parts of fans that think that Lamar Jackson is only good for running the ball. So, yes, the motivation may not be the same, but obviously, as we get closer, this team, and there's something that I haven't thought about. Somebody, I don't remember your name, bro. I know I saw it on Twitter or X, whatever you guys call it at this point. I don't remember your name, but I'm going to give this guy credit. This is an original thing that I found out. He brought to the attention of Twitter, obviously, that, every single year Lamar Jackson, we talk about Lamar Jackson getting injured. The last 2 years, Lamar Jackson missing the end of the season due to injury. Well, before those injuries, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens were always atop the AFC before he got hurt. Now, mind you, especially last year, I think last year was big in that point too. Last year, almost last year or 2 years ago, their entire running back room went out. And the Baltimore Ravens have, over the recent years, have been riddled with injuries, unfortunately. But I understand the motivation going into the game. And I understand that there's a point where you understand that you're not going to be able to change not everyone's mind, obviously. Some people are steadfast in their opinions, and there's nothing wrong with that. Hell, most of these podcasts, including mine is like that too. I'm obviously open to my opinion being changed. But there are people that are on platforms that it's very hard for you to change their opinion, no matter what data you present. But when I said that there are things that can be duplicated, if both these teams, not just both these teams see each other again, but moving forward, we're starting to get to a point where you know what it is? Remember that conversation that we've had? I know the conversation has kind of slowed down these last few years, but that conversation where Lamar Jackson continues to get better and better every year. Well, we're seeing the residuals of that right now. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.